I think research is cool. I think it's fun. I think it's exciting. I went to a Joint Quantum Institute seminar this morning, and it was really inspiring. That rhymed, I think. Okay, let's get into it. So basically, Joint Quantum Institute is basically UMD's research lab for quantum computing. I think it's a bit bigger than that, has a lot of collaborators, but that's the idea of it. And every Monday they have a seminar where someone from a different lab, different area, different research in quantum computing comes to present to a bunch of different researchers. Maybe some in grad school, maybe some in undergrad like myself, and we just learn and we take ideas and we ask questions. Today's one, I can't really explain the idea. I came late. I didn't really grasp a lot of the concepts. I think it was more so geospatial research in terms of basically having an orbiting body, and then in the north and south it's different, but in the equator it's in the north and south it's kind of parallel, but in the equator it's much different, and it's valuable to look into that. But also, I'm not going to get into research, but it's really interesting not in terms of that research, but in terms of the difference between myself and the audience and the presenter, because there was this vast gap in terms of how they came into the presentation, right? And it's not just like a matter of knowledge and the data they had about quantum computing, but more so how they kind of they thought about things, the way they approached things. I think that's what research gets me so excited, because especially I think in school after you go through some amount of schooling, it's really easy to think, oh, a lot of it's like memorization, like you memorize the syntax of Python, Java, C, wherever, and like you're good to go. Or you maybe like you have some building skills and all of that. But I think what research really does for you is that it really changes, like it alters the way you think, right? It alters the way you see, like let's say, you know, if you've seen those like cartoons where there's a group of people and they have to go into different tunnels to see like which one's the right one to find the villain or whatever. I feel like with research, a lot of times you have a problem and you have different ways to solve that problem. And you have to be quickly, you have to quick, because you have a finite amount of resources, maybe time, compute, money, wherever. You have to quickly assess what's the best path for you to go down. And I feel like that's such a skill that I struggle with. And especially with hackathons, it's so easy to see because a lot of times with hackathons, you waste a lot of time. But the more I've done research, the more I've worked on it, the faster I've been able to quickly assess things, the faster I've been quickly able to say, like, this has a lot of promise. This has promise, but it's going to take too much resources. This has maybe less promise, but it takes less resources. I think it's more explorable. That's something that I think is really exciting. But even beyond that, just the way the curiosity isn't just like a talent. It's not like just something where like you're 5 years old and then you have this IQ of 1 billion that you can come up with the best questions. Curiosity is I think the product, the result of really spending time thinking about things. Because when you think about things, I feel like you increase the latent space in your brain for a bunch of different ideas, right? And then when you actually are met with new information, you're able to kind of like I don't know, I'm doing buzzwords here, but you're able to just like put like collide these ideas together and get something really valuable. And then that might be a question, that might be a solution, but I don't know, it's just so awesome to see like these different researchers, even though quantum isn't my main thing. It's just so awesome to see them do their thing and see like, okay, maybe I can do that. I actually have to go talk with a mentor of mine. I think I don't know if it's a mentor relationship. We'll have to go talk if we have something like that for the UMD AI research labs here. Because I think I would love to see that. There's a lot of questions I have, and there's a lot I want to know about people's different research areas. Because there's a lot of interesting research. Like it's so amazing to see. Like every day I learn about. I see this new paper. I see these new ideas. I was looking at paper this morning, more so for my Gen Gen Mini World project. It's a cool paper. Obviously, that's basically I think. I'm mixing it up, but basically the idea had like Son Goku. I think it was a Goku reference from Dragon Ball, and that has nothing to do with what I'm saying. But it's just cool to see that in research papers. I don't know. It's just like when you read research papers, you did for my level, you don't understand what they're talking about, right? You have to read them like 15 times over, right? But when you do, it's like certain stuff just start to make more sense and it gets more exciting after all. Like, but dang, I recognize this and this. Oh, this makes sense now. That's a whole cool process. I just love the whole. I love the whole theater art aspect of it. It's just man, it's awesome. I think um if I had time, if I have more time, actually I do have time. I have a lot of time. I think something I really want to do is really to create a better bridge, a stronger bridge from the K to 12 area of education to the more higher level of education in terms of research. Because with K to 12, I don't think there's a lot of promotion of that research. I think the closest thing I've seen is with the International Baccalaureate Program, IB. But beyond that, there's not really anything because, like, okay, research just seems like people in lab coats in a lab testing some biomedical thing, but the research like goes beyond that. Like you can even do your own personal research. Like there's a lot of independent research you can do. I'd really love to expose more people to that. I don't know how. I don't think. research hackathons are the best idea because in my head hackathons should be sort. I don't think research should be sort. I think it should be something that's done over time. So maybe it's more of a maybe it's more of a program you do for a semester and you give them like maybe there's really stuff like this, but it's more stuff for a higher level. But more so you give them like more mini problems and you allow them to explore stuff um in their like stuff there it's easier for them to understand and then maybe maybe even push them in harder direction so they can hit failure but hitting failure they learn a bunch of stuff and gets them excited about the solution to that failure maybe the rerouting this whole thing and I don't know I'm just really excited about it but besides that I have nothing else to say so have a great day.